It's my great pleasure to shift and to introduce a guest to our community today. I'd like you to welcome the Chief of Police of Wallingford, Chief Wright, who would like to speak with you for a few minutes.
Good morning. It's my honor to be able to spend a few minutes with you. I've been asked to keep my comments short so that you're not sitting here longer than you need to. I want to thank Dr. Curtis and his staff for having me here. It's not often that we are able to interact with you kind of one-on-one like this, and I appreciate the opportunity. So, some of the things that I've been asked to speak about certainly are ever present in your daily life, and I'm hopeful that we can have just a brief discussion on some of these issues so that you know kind of where we're coming from, both at the police department and the community, and where you might be able to assist us or where we might be able to assist you. I've been asked to speak to you about what our advice to you would be to be a good neighbor, and I really don't have a lot to offer there because you are a wonderful neighbor. We miss you when you're not here. The town gets very quiet when you're away on breaks. We'd like to see you passing in town and spending your time outside or off the campus, if you will. And it's very lonely, if you will, where we are up in the center of town when you're not here. So we like to see you here. You're a wonderful neighbor. Our community, as you know, is very rich in diversity, both culturally and ethnically, and you bring a lot to that when you're here. You come from all over the world, and we're certainly grateful when you are here that you add to our community. So you already are a good neighbor. And if there's anything I could say about that is, you know where we are. If you don't, we're right over here on North Main Street. Stop in and see us. We don't often have a lot of interaction with you. Your security services here, the community safety really handles a lot of that on our behalf. But come to see us. We have a police officer who stands on the corner in the center of town. I'm sure you've seen he or she there. Introduce yourself to them. Explain to them why you're here, where you come from. They'd be very welcome to have a 5-minute conversation with you about your life experiences and what brought you here to Wallingford. Another topic I've been asked to speak to you about is your safety while you're in our community, right? So we are a relatively and statistically safe community comparatively, but we're not without our problems. And I know many of you have experienced offhanded comments or racial slurs or some other passing jokes, if you will, that we don't find funny at all directed to you. We want to help you with that, right? So the best way that we can help you about it is if we know about it. And if there's a problem going on, we do want to know about it. Please pass that through the appropriate channels, which I'm sure are in place so that we can better assist you, right? We don't want that occurring. I know that there's a lot of these comments made at the time you're moving from one building to another in mass quite a bit, and traffic gets held up and they become impatient. Well, we just had this discussion, Dean Stanley and I, about motorists should consider maybe going a different way, right? There's a lot of ways to get around town. This passage through Christian Street and North and South Elm creates a problem for a motorist. They should seek an alternative route. That being said, people like to get from point A to point B in the shortest time possible, and if it happens to be through your campus, then that's just the way they're going to go. Let us help you with some of those problems that you might be having. Your safety off campus. Now I know that the entire town of Wallingford is considered your campus, but once you kind of leave the Choate proper, if you will, especially if you head down to Route 5 to seek some of the services down there, please be very aware, especially if you're on North Main Street Extension going down the hill by Community Pool. There is a sidewalk on the east side of North Main Street Extension. You might not notice it. It's paved with the same asphalt that the road is paved, right? So I'm not sure how well that's maintained during the winter time, but please try to seek safe passage through that area on the sidewalk. And I say that to say this. A lot of the issues that we have with some of the students actually being struck by cars at these intersections are from drivers that just are not paying attention, right? So please, when you can, when you come into these intersections, try to make eye contact with the motorist who you're encountering. there's a chance and a greater chance as time goes on that they don't even see you there, right? They're texting and driving, not paying attention, or they're worried about something else that might be on the phone, and they just don't see you in the intersection. Please try to make eye contact with the motoring public so that your safety is paramount, because you do pass many times a day through these intersections where motorists are traveling. Please speak up when something happens. You know, that say something when you see something, kind of a phrase. We're encouraged that more recently than not, we've received some complaints from the Choate community that we can greatly assist you on. Our police department is hardworking, dedicated to providing quality public safety, and certainly as part of our community, we owe that to you as well. So if you see something that you believe we should be aware of, please pass it through the appropriate channels so that it can get to us. Our community is better because you're here, right? We like to have the Choate community here. Like I said a minute ago, it's very lonely when you're not here. And if you reflect on your time in town with us, 4 years passes by very quickly, right? And then you're gone and you're on to something more than likely bigger and better, right? But cherish your time here. Get to know us. We want to get to know you. You're a resident and a part of our community. We're not without our problems. This is a large community. We're almost 40 square miles. Socioeconomic from one end of the scale to the other. We've had some problems in the past with some extremist groups. If you've read the town's history back in time, you will have read that. I would like to offer you today that we believe that the town is devoid of that, but I could never guarantee that to you, right? Inherent biases that people have, and some things that people think are offensive to us, but then again, the First Amendment is alive and well, right? So their ability to speak freely is something that we all should cherish, right? Although it may not be something that we necessarily agree with, right? So if you're a victim of that, certainly we want to know about it, right? We have a duty to try to help you. So please stop by and see us. Our doors are always open. We don't close. And it really, truly is an honor to be able to spend just a few minutes with you here this morning. So welcome back from your winter break. And for you seniors, you know, I suspect that you're looking forward to graduation, and I'll certainly be here before you know it. So I offer you to cherish this time here. Right? Have a great, great day.